Okay guys, in this section 1-3, we're going over a review of how to solve equations. And the reason why we're taking a little bit of time to look at this is because in the following sections, there are going to be times where we use the geometry to set up an equation that you then have to solve. So we're going to take a little bit of time and review solving equations from algebra just to make sure that you guys are good with that part so that it doesn't become a barrier to you doing the sections that we're going to do after this. All right, so I've got an equation up here. 3x minus 2 equals 16. Okay, and I've got it written up here twice because I'm going to show you two different ways to do it. Okay, and so hopefully when you see this, you have some idea of how to go about solving it if you remember solving equations from algebra. But if not, we're going to go back through it again. And even if you do, we'll just go to make sure that you are solid on that procedure. Okay, so here's the deal. When you're trying to solve an equation for x, okay, what you want to do is you want to manipulate the equation until you've solved it for x equals. All right, and for those of you who remember from your algebra class, in this case, I'm trying to isolate the x, which is this term, and then so I need all the other terms really on kind of on the other side. So what's happening to the x? Well, it's being subtracted by 2. How do I undo that? By adding 2 to both sides. So now I've got 3x is equal to 18, which, by the way, that's still equal because if you do the same thing to both sides, then you still have it equal on both sides. If they were the same and then you added 2 to both sides, they're still the same. They're still equal. All right, so to finish this out, what's happening to x now? It's being multiplied by 3. What's the opposite of that? How do I undo that? Divide both sides by 3. Whatever you do to one side, you got to do the same thing to the other side. And then now that's going to cancel out and leave me with x equal 6. There's your answer. Okay, now I'm going to show you another way to solve this equation that uses kind of a different technique that's actually going to save you some time in certain situations. Okay, so one way I want you to think about this is you can look at an equation as a set of terms, all right? And so terms are separated by a plus, a minus, or an equal sign. So 3x is a term, 2 is a term, and 16 is a term. Now, the sign in front of the term goes with the term. So if you want to figure out whether the term is positive or negative, you need to look at the sign out in front of it. Here there's nothing, it's understood to be positive 3x. Here there's a minus, so that means negative 2. Here there's nothing, so it's a positive 16. Now, here's the alternate method. In an equation, you can take a term and move it to the other side of the equation as long as you change the sign. So like, for example, if I'm trying to solve for x, I need all the other terms on the other side of the equation, right? So I need to move this 2 to the other side. Well, when I do, it's going to look like this. 3x, remember, we're picking up the 2 and we're moving it to the other side, equals, well, what was already here, 16, and then what's going to come behind it, 2. Now, if it was minus 2 on this side, it must change to plus 2 on this side. And then so, again, we've taken this 2 and moved it from one side of the equal sign to the other, and we changed its sign. So you can move around any term you like as long as if it goes across the equal sign, it must change signs. All right, so keep that in mind. So I've got 3x is equal to 18, and from here it's the same as the other way, or the other equation we did, divide both sides by 3, and I get x equals 6. Okay? Now, for this particular problem, it does not save you any steps. Okay? But when we get to the types of problems that have x's on both sides, it saves you a little bit of time, and you'll see that here in just a few minutes. All right? What about this next one? Let's see if we can go through and solve it. So again, I'm looking to solve for the x, so I need to look at my x term, 2x right here. I need to make sure all the other terms are on the other side. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up this 8 and move it to the other side and change it from plus to minus. So that's going to be 2x. The 8 is moving. What was already over here that's not moving, 24. Remember, things can't just disappear. And what am I moving over here from the other side? Plus 8 is going to change to minus 8. Now I've got 2x. I can subtract 24 minus 8 is going to be 16. I'm ready to divide both sides by 2. And we got x is equal to 8 is your correct answer. All right? So now, on one like this next one where we have x's on both sides, now you can kind of see how that technique is actually going to help you. All right, here's the deal. I have now x terms on both sides. I got 8x on this side, I got 6x on the other side. Well, you're never going to solve for x until you get all the x's on one side. And then you want to get all the regular numbers on the other side. So really, in my first step, I'm going to move 2 terms. I need all the x terms on one side, and I need all the regular number terms on the other side. So first of all, how many terms are in the equation right now? There's 4. There's an 8x, it's positive. There's a 4, it's negative. There's a 6x, it's positive. There's a 12, it's positive. So what I need to do here is I need to get all the x's onto this side, all the regular numbers on the other side. So I'm going to move 6x over to join the 8x, and I'm going to move the negative 4 over to join the 12. And I can do all of that in one step, and that's how this technique actually saves you several steps. Okay, because now I need all the x's to one side, so 8x, it's going to stay put. Remember, 4 is moving, but what's going to come and join the 8x? 6x. Now, what do I write? Do I need to write plus 6x or minus 6x? Well, remember, 6x was positive, so now when it comes over, it's going to change to negative. So if it was plus 6x on this side, it's going to be minus 6x on the other side. Okay, now, what was over here that's not moving? A 12. So 12 is staying put. Remember, things can't just disappear. Okay? And what's coming over here to join the 12? Well, if it was minus 4 on this side, then it's going to be plus 4 on the other side. All right? So now I can combine like terms on this side. 8x minus 6x is going to be 2x. And 12 plus 4 is going to be 16. And now I'm ready to divide both sides by 2. Then I'll have my answer, x is equal to 8. All right? And so this method of moving the terms, since we can move both of these terms at the same time, will save you several steps over the other method that you may have learned. All right? So keep that in mind. All the x's go to one side, all the regular numbers go to the other side. Whatever goes across has to change sign. All right? So remember, if 4 was minus 4 on this side, it's plus 4 on the other side. If it was plus 6x on this side, it's minus 6x on the other side. Any term that goes across the equal has to change sign. That's the rule. Okay? Maybe a few more to practice. All right, let's take a look at this one. All right, so from here I need all my x's on one side. I need all my regular numbers on the other side. Okay, so if I move all my x's over to this left-hand side, by the way, you can move it to either side you want. Okay, the 25 needs to go over to the other side, and then the 15x will stay put. So what do I need to write? I need to write negative 15x. Okay? Well, why am I writing that? Because remember, the 15x is staying on this side. It's not moving. And what was it? It was negative. So what does it still have to be? Negative. Why? Because it is not moving across. The only time it can change is if it moves across. So if you just wrote 15x, that would be incorrect because you change it from minus to plus, but it didn't go across the equal sign. Right? So be careful with that. The only time it can change sign is if it goes across. If it doesn't go across the equals, then it must have the same sign that it had before. All right? Now the 25 is going. Now what's going to join 15x on this side? What do I need to move? I can either move the 20x or I can move the 10. Well, I need to move the 20x because it needs to have all the x's together. So minus 20x on that side is going to be plus 20x on this side. All right? So far, I've just moved the 20x over to join the 15. Now, on the other side, what's staying put that's not moving? The thing that's not moving is this negative 10. And notice it is negative. We keep it as negative. Why? Because it did not go across. It can only change sign if it goes across. If it doesn't go across the equal, it cannot change sign. All right? So if it was minus 10 before, it's minus 10 after. Now, what's going to join the 10? Okay? 25. Now, what is 25 now? It's plus 25. So when it goes across, it's going to be minus 25. Remember, if there's no sign in front of it, it automatically means positive. All right? So let me stop and make sure you understand what we did. Okay? Negative 20 came over here and made plus 20. 25 came over to this side and changed to minus 25. All right? Now we can do the like terms. Negative 15x plus 20x. That's going to leave me with 5x. And negative 10 minus 25 is negative 35. Now I'm ready to divide both sides by 5. And then I can get my answer. X equals to negative divided by positive is a negative. 35 divided by 5 is 7. All right? So that's kind of how it works. Okay, one more practice problem we need to take a look at, and that is here. So the only thing that's different about this particular problem is you've got the parentheses involved. So remember how to handle that. If you've got parentheses, the number on the outside multiplies by everything on the inside of the parentheses. So for example, here, I'll multiply 2 times the 4, and then I'll multiply 2 times the negative 2x. So 2 times 4 is 8. And remember, when you're multiplying these out, keep your sign straight. A positive times a negative is a negative. You can write the sign first and now multiply it. 2 times 2x is 4x. So when you're using the distributive property, you've got to make sure that your signs are correct. Okay, go over to the other one. I need to multiply negative 2 times x. Then I need to multiply negative 2 times 5. The number on the outside multiplies by everything on the inside. That's the distributive property. So negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative times a positive is a negative, right? Negative times a positive is also a negative again, and then 2 times 5 makes 10. All right? So now that we've multiplied it out, it becomes just like the problems that we've done before. We want all the x's onto one side. We want all of the regular numbers onto the other side. So my negative 4x is going to stay put. Notice I retained the same sign. My 8 is going to move. Now, on the other side, what's going to come over and join the 4x? Okay? I need all the x's onto the same side. So this minus 2x needs to come across and change from minus 2x to plus 2x. Okay, so remember, anytime it goes across the equal sign, it must change sign. Now, what's over here that's not moving? Negative 10. Don't forget to write it. Make sure it retains the same sign since it's not moving across the equal. Now, what's going to come and join the negative 10? Okay, plus 8 on this side is going to come across and change to minus 8 on the other side. Remember, anything that goes across the equal must change sign. And you always want the x's on one side, regular numbers on the other side, and then we're almost done. So negative 4x plus 2x, that's going to be negative 2x. Remember, when you're combining like terms, you can think about it in terms of money. All right, so think about x as dollars. Negative $4 plus $2. If I owe $4 and somebody give me $2, I still owe $2 more, right? So you can think about it as money. Negative is money you owe, and positive is money you have. Same thing right here. If I owe somebody $10 and I owe somebody else $8, now I owe $18. All right? So that's one way you can think about it. But of course, all of you have calculators on your phone and whatnot that you can use as well. All right? Not quite finished. We got one more step. That's to divide both sides by negative 2. Negative divided by negative is a positive. 18 divided by 2 makes 9, and then there is your answer. All right? So, like I say, this lesson is just a review of how to solve equations because the lessons that we do later on are going to involve setting up an equation from the geometry and then solving it, the equation with the algebra. So it's important that you make sure you remember how to solve these types of equations. All right, so let's take what we've learned here now, and the quiz is waiting for you in Canvas, so make sure that you guys get that done by midnight tonight.